Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinabhadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. So, under the topic of the goal of life, we started discussing the several goals. Of course, human being has so many things to do, so many things to accomplish. Shastra looks upon 4 main goals. We call Purushartha. Purushartha means it depends upon your own initiative, right? You choose a goal, you put efforts, etc. And in that, I said 3, of course, to make that the 4th one a little distinct from the 3. The first is Artha. You have a need of certain securities. A very genuine. It's a genuine need. Securities. Because I have a sense of insecurity from birth onwards. And so, whatever I look upon as a source of security, I will definitely pursue. So, pursuit of security is called Artha. Then, not only just pursuit of security, I have a pursuit of pleasure, inner comfort. And there are sources for that. Sense pleasures, etc. are there. There are aesthetic pleasures also. Yeah. Aesthetic pleasures, where other people who are just interested in a sense gratification, they will not have a scope in that. Like certain classical music, not everyone is able to enjoy. So there are aesthetic pleasures. Like a person is interested only in a particular blue color. There are 1,000, I heard, there are 1,000 types of blue colors. They have made computer shows. And this person says, no, not that. I am interested only in this. We feel, what is there in this? But he has that taste. He or she, whatever. So there are aesthetic pleasures. There are sensual pleasures. Both the types of pleasures are there. That's also goal. Purushartha. So we discussed, and then we also discussed they are mixed up and everything, right? So it's very difficult to decide a particular thing in the world can be called as a pursuit of a kama or a pursuit of a artha. It all depends upon a person ultimately. Then the third thing is dharma. Pursuit of dharma. What will it give first? That is the first thing. Dharma makes you a person, spontaneous person. A person without conflict. It is to be initiated. We call it as an emotionally adult. The young adults also will become adults. Everyone, you, me, everyone, has to really become adult. Physically, we become adult, just by eating and jumping around, and one day you have a mustache. So you just, that's it. Not a big deal. To become a physical adult is not a very big deal. To become emotional adult, you have to initiate. Effort. Choose. That Purushartha is Dharma. Which will result into ultimately, this emotional adulthood is nothing but gaining equanimity of the mind, spontaneity, etc. Self-acceptance, self-love. Very difficult. Very difficult. One doesn't love oneself. Of course, Vedanta says, but in general we feel there is a self-condemnation. That's what I mean. Self-condemnation, a lot of self-condemnation, self-non-acceptance. All these issues will be taken care of partially by this Purushartha. So the person who is a emotionally adult will have a more equanimity, will be spontaneous person, and he will have a lot of self-acceptance. And such a person will be a source of happiness for all. The person who is we call dharmika, religious person, everyone loves. Because everyone loves dharma, basically, I will talk. Everyone loves dharma. We call universal values, you know very well. This person has a conformity to that structure of right and wrong, universal values. He has a conformity. He speaks truth. He doesn't cheat. He accommodates everyone. Who doesn't love this person? Everyone loves. He loves himself and he loves others. This is an equation generally they say. One who loves oneself loves others. One who condemns oneself condemns others. So these are the benefits I'm showing you of this Purushartha. So conformity to what is right and wrong, universally. Without getting education in any university. One is born with the knowledge of universal right and wrong. You know very well, so I'm just refreshing myself. Anyway, so this is Dharma, third Purushartha. And generally before Artha and Kama they put, who will put this? One who has a value for that. They will put first. That I will pursue securities and pleasures and everything, but through Dharma, through conforming to universal right and wrong. I don't want to go against that. So that is how, in general, they say Dharma, Artha, Kama. People have only Artha and Kama, they don't value this thing, and therefore for them that is not a Purushartha at all, not a goal. But there are people who know the value of Dharma, that it will make me emotionally adult and this and that, and which I discussed, which I told to you. They will put Dharma first. Because Dharma, the knowledge of Dharma is right there in the buddhi. Where the free will is given to you. There itself, what is to be chosen also is given to you. Free will means choice. So where the choice is given, there Ishvara has given what you should choose. We may not choose, that's a different thing, depending upon likes and dislikes. That's another thing. But it is given. This is what you should choose. So one has a knowledge also of Dharma, and one who knows the value of that, following Dharma, conforming to Dharma, etc., will, that this is way it makes me emotionally adult. They will keep first Dharma, and then Artha Kama will definitely according to Dharma. And this Dharma is very necessity for the human being. Dharma Shastra, etc., all this discussion is possible between the human beings. I cannot take a class of a Dharma to the buffaloes. Definitely not. So, because there is a choice here. Where there is a choice, there is a responsibility, great responsibility. When I have a free will, freedom to choose anything, where there is a freedom, there the responsibility to exercise that freedom also should be there. Ishvara is not forgotten. And so he has given that. Our free will is so free. Human beings' free will. Just see, like an action of eating. How much freedom we have. What to eat, where to eat, how much to eat, whether to eat or not, this, that, etc. So many things are there. Just on one action called eating. Speaking also, whether to speak or not, I should speak, loudly, should I shout, scream, this. So many options. So such a big choice has been given to the human being, and there definitely what to choose should be given by the Creator. By the Creator. And so, well, That is how the knowledge of right and wrong has been given, because we have a choice. Anyway, sometimes we feel that, well, I don't have a choice. Like alcoholics. They say, well, I don't have any choice. So how you say human being has a choice, but I don't have any choice. He says that. So, well, for such a person also to regain his power of choice, first he has to accept that, well, he has no say, well, or no power over alcohol. He says, I'm helpless for that. And when you say I'm helpless, you seek help. And when you seek help from the proper source, you again gain partially a capacity to choose. So this is just an answer I am giving. Because sometimes you may say, Swamiji, there is a choice, but I feel I don't have any choice in few things. I just do. So definitely in certain situation you feel helpless, but then you can seek help and again regain the choice, capacity to choose. Anyway, mainly our dharma is, it comes in a interaction with others. That is where actually it is most important. So you must have a basis, for a choice of action or response. A choice can be right, can be wrong. A choice can be right and it can be appropriate. I will give you an example. A choice can be right and it can be appropriate. A choice can be wrong, it can be inappropriate. What is appropriate is right, but what is right need not be appropriate. I will explain you, example. What is right, well, need not be appropriate. What is appropriate is right. And so, well, we can say that what is appropriate need not be right or wrong in absolute sense. So it is only in the context of a particular culture, well, given culture, a certain behavior, response, well, is considered appropriate or inappropriate. So different cultures basically have a different norms of cultural expression, norms, social customs, etiquettes. There are eating etiquettes. Yeah, right? How to eat is not a right or wrong. Someone can bring a plate here and he can write. He can eat. I can't say it is wrong. But suppose if we have a certain culture here, certain custom, that eating in this temple, well, or in front of the teaching we are going on, eating is not proper. Eating here is inappropriate. And when we see the person is eating, we feel hurt. Then we say his action, which is inappropriate in a given culture, is wrong. Could you follow? Could you follow? Hurting other is wrong. Non-hurting other is right. So what is appropriate is right because you don't hurt others. What is inappropriate is wrong. Therefore, Puja Swamiji was giving an example of one minister from Bihar went to England and he must be knowing. So, and he behaved in England. There are so many etiquettes in eating and in everything. And this person was not knowing on the dining table itself. He behaved in such a way. All the people who were present there felt very much insulted, hurt, etc. Now, what he did there, suppose if he does the same thing in his home, we cannot say it is right or wrong. Asking for something, little loudly. In a home, it is okay. People do it also. But there, in that particular culture, well, where there is a social custom, there is a certain etiquettes, manners, there it is considered inappropriate. And why inappropriate? Because it hurts. So that behavior we call inappropriate because it has hurt, which is called wrong. What is appropriate, inappropriate in a given culture one should learn. right? One should learn. What is right and wrong, you need not learn. You know. You know. Hurting others is wrong. In which university you learn? No, you know this. Non-hurting others is right. I should not hurt others by behavior, words, etc. is known to you. It's a common sense ethics we call. I don't want to get hurt by someone's words, behavior. Others also don't want to get hurt by my behavior, etc., or words, etc. This knowledge we are born with, that's what I'm telling you. What is right and wrong universally, which is present in every human being, that you need not gain that knowledge. But what is appropriate, inappropriate in a given culture, in a given, a particular culture, let us say, that's better. Or in a given society, in a certain social customs, that you should know. That one should know. Anyway, so what is right and wrong is clear to me. I know for sure that I don't want to be cheated, and therefore I should not cheat others. No one wants to be cheated. So this knowledge is clear. What may not be clear is how much I lose if I go against this order, universal order of right and wrong. I may not be knowing. If I may not be knowing the value of this universal right and wrong, well, I may not choose as a purushartha in my life. And I may go against that dharma. We call dharma. What is universal right and wrong is called dharma. So I may go against that. Why? Because I have a value for something else. Suppose I have a value for prestige, money, etc. Compared to that, I don't know the value of following universal right and wrong, dharma. Well, then I weigh more this adharma. And therefore, basically, whenever a person chooses a dharma, well, because he has not completely assimilated the value of the values, or he doesn't know the value of the value. Everyone knows about the values, but not everyone basically has the understanding and assimilation of the value of the value. Could you follow what I'm saying? And therefore all religions, now I'm again talking to you compared to other religions, all religions, they talk about values, don't hurt others, etc., etc., in form of do's and don'ts. And we also talk do's and don'ts. We also have in Dharma Shastra. So they also talk about dharma, we also talk about dharma. However, well, basically we are aware, why a particular value is considered as a valuable, that is not taught in other religions. They just say this is what it is. You should do this, you should not do this. Why I should follow the structure of do's and don'ts? They don't say. But we basically have a question. Basically, we ask this fundamental question, and only through the understanding that a value should be valuable to me for my own growth, etc., emotional growth, for my own well-being, etc., that is addressed in Hinduism. That is addressed in Hinduism. And if I can understand the immensity of this loss, of personal loss, well, of not following dharma, etc., then if I'm clear about it, then I have assimilated this dharma, values, universal values. And this tendency to go against dharma should be stopped. And the power, well, basically, I need not gain, of course, prayer, etc. But if I talk about it, you will be bored. So that I would like to stop now prayer. But that basically, I really don't require any external mechanism to control that tendency to against dharma. My own knowledge is actually a greatest controlling agent, the greatest controlling power to go against this dharma. So even though the tendency are basically are there to go against dharma, we can disempower basically this and make them useless. I will give you an example. For instance, suppose you can enjoy the power which I am talking, you can visualize. When you are passing through the mall, shopping mall, well, generally shopping mall is a place where shopping mall makes a person feel helpless. because you want to buy many things attract you, and you cannot buy. You buy here and there few things. But at a time you will have to say no. To say no, even though you are attracted to so many things, to say no, you need a power. Well, similarly, if you can enjoy the similar capacity whenever you feel a tendency to go against dharma for benefit of some artha, kama, etc., money, prestige, etc., well, then definitely that is where the growth is lying. When you are able to say no to your own fancies, likes and dislikes, and remain in conformity with the right and wrong, well, there you are growing. That's an initiation. How much I can grow? Well, ultimately, what I am supposed to do, what is right, I like. And what I'm not supposed to do, which is wrong, I dislike. I have grown. No more conflict. Could you follow what I'm saying? There is a free will. The free will is exercised based on likes and dislikes. Free will can be exercised based on right and wrong, which is given, the knowledge is given to you. Dharma, universal right and wrong. Suppose you choose your action based on your likes and dislikes. You surrender to your likes and dislikes, fancies, no growth. But suppose you have power that I will choose action based on what is universal right and wrong. Initially there will be pain. In any growth there is a pain. Even physically also, if you want to grow really, 6-pack, 8-packs, whatever, you have to lift something which you cannot lift. That is power. Just you take a 5 grams on both sides, you cannot make muscles. You cannot, definitely not. If you want to make muscles, you have to lift something which you cannot lift. Cannot lift, I'm not saying to the limitless thing, but you have to at least. Yeah, there the pain is involved. But then growth also is there. Growth also is there. Same way here. Initially you may feel pain because you are not choosing based on your fancies or likes and dislikes. You are choosing based on your rights and wrong structure, dharma structure. Initially it is little conflict also, you may feel. But it ultimately results into what I am supposed to do, means what is right, I like. Means the right itself becomes my raga, my like. And what is wrong is dvesha for me. Then growth is over. Why? No more conflict. No more conflict now in the mind. You are a spontaneous person. And not just spontaneous, you will accept yourself. When you have a value for something and you yourself cannot basically imbibe in your life, suppose, in your own eye you fall down. Suppose I have a value of getting up in the morning for doing some prayer, etc. I know that this is good. To do the prayer in the early morning is very good. And I put an alarm also, and I don't get up. In your own eyes, you fall down. When you get up, you feel a dejection, rejection, self-condemnation. Same with this dharma for which everyone has a value, in fact. I have a value for truthfulness. Every one of you should speak truth to me. Value. It's a value. I have value for truthfulness. I have value for non-cheating. I have value for accommodation. Everyone should accommodate me. Everyone should forgive me. Everyone should forgive me. No one should take my advantage. Person sometimes, knowing the person is in a weak situation, they take advantage. Person is taken advantage of even when the person is known as a noble person. He is taken advantage of. I should not be taken advantage of. No one should cheat me. All these values I am born with. And if I myself is not able to follow, well, if I can't follow the value structure which I already have, then I definitely, in my own eyes, I fall. There is no self-worth. Self-condemnation is there. But this person, well, who is supposed, what he is supposed to do, he likes. And what he is not supposed to do, well, he doesn't like. Such a person is a spontaneous person. He accepts himself, he loves others, and everyone loves that person also. Because everyone has a value for this. And all the people are seeing that this person follows the value. So you automatically love. You automatically love the person. This is just I'm saying about this person who has grown emotionally. Emotional adult. This is called emotional maturity, etc. So anyway, so without being judgmental, etc., towards others, one can keep growing in this area. It's very difficult to say it is all easy, definitely. But one can definitely, start lifting. Yeah, little bit. If I can lift 5 kg, at least 5 kg and 500 grams more or something. You start. Then you will definitely one day build muscles. That's how it is. Okay, so dharma, artha and kama are human pursuits. And they are not enough. Well, people who think that once you follow dharma, you have a values, you are a saintly person, dharmika person, religious person, saintly person, that's a goal of life. What else to be done? Many people say, nothing else is required. I follow values. I follow all ethics. Nothing more is required. Well, in fact, those people who say that, they do not understand that to be a dharmika person or saintly person is not what is expected of you. That is what is expected of you as a human being. Because you expect you expect the people to follow dharma while conducting a transaction with you. And you yourself do not follow. That's not correct. So you yourself start following a dharma. Dharma becomes a purushartha in your life. Then that is what is expected as a human being to you, because you have a choice and now you are exercising your choice with a responsibility, choosing what is universally right and wrong. So basically this dharma is a purushartha that is expected actually of a human being. And but then why do you call it as a purushartha? Why do you have so much value for it? Basically because many people do not choose. For this kind of a growth, they do not choose. And therefore, whoever chooses this, well, we say, well, this person, we call him a saintly person, we admire him, we respect him. But otherwise, it is expected of the human being. And there is another thing also why we consider it as a value, because it depends upon your initiative also. In that sense, it is a purushartha also, an end to be accomplished. And so dharma, artha, kama, both, well, of course, they are gained due to this initiative. Anyway, yet none of them, including this dharma, are ends in themselves. End is something else. So dharma is pursued simply to make a person a mature person, as a self-conscious being. It will make you, which will gain a certain purpose, following dharma, etc. And then, once he becomes a mature, well, what is he has to do, that has been told by the Shastra, and that is called moksha. Dharma, artha and kama, I will explain you, are not enough in human life. Why? We'll see that. So that end which we are really seeking from the birth itself, is moksha. Freedom from the sense of insecurity. Really speaking, I am not interested in any security. Believe me. Honestly. But since I can't get rid of the sense of insecurity, I definitely, I take the crutches of all so-called securities because I can't stand on my own legs. I need crutches. I can't get rid of the sense of insecurity, and therefore I feel this will give me security, this will give me security, that person will give security, different things are there. Knowledge also is a source of security. Like Israeli people, several examples are there. Knowledge is a source of security. Skill is a source of security. If you don't have certain skills, you may get the pink slip in a job. Possible. Knowledge, skill, relationship, house, money, ultimately is for one purpose. I want to get rid of this sense of insecurity. I want to become free. I want a freedom. Moksha is a freedom. Freedom from the sense of insecurity, first. So compared to artha and moksha, really speaking, the end is moksha, not artha. That's how so-called sources of security I give up, because that has not, I thought they are promising me to get rid of this, insecurity. Not. Person has a certain relationship with another person, thinking that this person will make me secure. And when you find that it is the other way, he is depending, or she is depending upon you for the security. You are not interested in the person with them. You may not be interested. You are interested in the person who will make you more comfortable, more secure. So ultimately, I want to get rid of, please understand this. This is where the Purushartha Viveka comes. Purushartha, Artha and Moksha. This is the capacity one can gain through grace of Ishvara. Very big. Otherwise, the life will be ruined in entirely gaining several sources of so-called security. And at the end, one says, I have gained everything, but yet not become secure. That's how this is necessary. Moksha means a freedom from sense of insecurity. Second, moksha means a freedom from being small. I just don't like to see myself. In my awareness, I'm a very small person. I can't accept. Then freedom, the moksha means the sense of being insignificant. That sense of being a mortal. Sense of being mortal, No one likes mortality. One day more. Puja Swami, anyway, I don't want to go into it. But so, no one wants a mortality. No, Swamiji, I don't want to live anymore. Everyone wants to live happily. If you see that there is no more a chance to become happy in my life further, then person ends his life. That's a different thing. But I want to live happily. Anyway, so sense of being unhappy, I just don't want. I want to get rid of it. It's alien for me. Somehow, what is alien is thrown out by the system. Right? Something falls in the eyes, immediately tears come up to make them, make that particular thing go away. Any poison, toxin, something has come in, immediately vomiting. What is alien? Well, is thrown out by the system. Suppose I'm unhappy due to some thought. I want to get rid of it. Person starts singing, bathroom singing, this singing, and start calling other person so that at least I can get rid of it temporarily. So I want a freedom from the sense of being unhappy, sense of being mortal, sense of being who is subject to disease, sense of being I want to get rid of, the sense of being persecuted by the world, etc. That sense has to go. Until it goes, no one is going to satisfied with artha, kama, dharma. And so one must discriminate between these relative ends, artha, kama, dharma, etc., and the one what we are really seeking. So one wants to be free from this notion. I'm using word notion purposely. I will explain you later. One wants to be free from the notion of being limited. I'm not limited, basically. My own experience reveals, but I don't want to now divert it temporarily. So one wants to be free from the notion of being limited. The pursuit of dharma, artha, and kama are at their core based on the sense, that I am insecure, I am unhappy, I am mortal, etc. And I try to fulfill, I want to get rid of this particular sense, I am insecure, etc., through dharma, artha, and kama. And I want to become more secure, more happy, and I want to get rid of this sense of immortality also. But I use the means again more artha, kama, dharma itself, and they don't help me in that aspect. And so basically they give an example of this example Puja Swamiji also has given in Bhagavad Gita home study course also. Swamiji used to give the example for that in Shastra illustrates how this dharma, artha, kama cannot help you for this your basic this need of becoming free from the sense of limitation, etc. He says, around a broomstick, you tie an elegant silken string. Then you add a very silver string, then you add a bright golden string, and finally you garland this broomstick with a dazzling diamond necklace, etc. And then you admire this broomstick with all these decoratives, etc. What are you left with is ultimately broomstick. He gave this example there. So a broomstick, a decorated, bejeweled broomstick, even though it may be bejeweled, etc., ultimately it is still a broomstick. That's what it is. With all other pursuits of dharma, artha, and kama, still I remain a same limited being. The sense of mortality has not gone, that I am mortal, that has not gone. I am insecure has not gone. I am unhappy has not gone. With all the pleasures, people are unhappy. You know very well. With all the sources of security, person is still feeling insecure. In fact, they feel more insecure than us. Right? More wealthy people feel more insecure. Perhaps you may be thinking Swamiji is telling that you give up all this. No way. No. This all has to be pursued, but there is something else to be brought into the sight. That's what I mean. Anyway, so unless I can see this example of this broomstick as an intimate description of my own experience of pursuing all these things, I will not have a discrimination between dharma and moksha, artha and moksha, kama and moksha. Through kama also I want to get rid of the sense of limitation. Through artha also ultimately I want to get rid of the sense of insecurity, etc., etc. So that kind of a viveka will arise only you analyze your own experiences. Anyway, and therefore, so ultimately I'm interested in a freedom from all these notions, basically. That end is called moksha. And Shastra says, we will not be going into that. Shastra says if you are really searching a sense of, getting rid of, if you are really searching for freedom from a sense of limitation centered on I, means you are really seeking limitless, then that limitless has to include you. Excluding you, how can there be a limitlessness? And therefore the limitlessness which you are seeking should include you. And therefore perhaps there is a possibility that I am limitless. Perhaps there is a possibility I am a whole, I am limitless. But then how can I take myself as a limited being? Well, that is called notion. That's a notion. Due to some not knowing myself and committing an error, well, basically you have a sense of limitation, and that is what you want to exactly get rid of it through all the these pursuits, because they are alien to you. It's not your nature. If it is your nature that you are limited, you will be comfortable with. But this sense of limitation you are not comfortable with, that shows it is not your nature, and you are limitless, but you may not be knowing it, and therefore ultimately it's a pursuit of a knowledge. You should know that you are limitless, etc. And therefore moksha is not freedom from this sense of limitation, bondage, etc., but moksha is basically freedom from my notion of bondage, notion that I am limited. There is no exactly I am a limited being. And that is exactly the experience of deep sleep reveals. You are very much there without any boundaries. You are very much there without any boundaries. And that's how I was telling, yesterday I think, that why we love deep sleep state, because that is where exactly I am in my own, in my natural form, let's say. In a waking state, I always am a limited being as a waker, definitely. Even as a doer, experiencer, or even as a knower, I'm always a limited being, which is really not my nature. In dream also, I am of course, dream doer, etc. I am a limited being. In a deep sleep state, all so-called limitations gone. I am very much there without any limitations. So perhaps there is a possibility that I am limitless. And that is where exactly I feel joy also. Anyway, and therefore moksha is not a freedom from bondage. Moksha is a freedom from the notion of bondage. Notion that I am a limited being. If you are really limited, you cannot get rid of that. Like the fire cannot get rid of heat, whatever you do. If heat is not there, fire is not there. And therefore, if I am a really limited being by nature, I cannot get rid of it. But my own experience of daily experience reveals that I become free from the sense of limitation, bondage. Well, that reveals that perhaps to take myself as a limited being may be an error due to ignorance of the self, ignorance of oneself. So moksha is basically freedom from the notion, to remove the notion and the cause of the notion, that ignorance, the only solution is knowledge. Ignorance can go by knowledge of the self. So that is how, when this is discerned, though all the other ends remain, that's what I am going to talk. All the other ends remain, they subserve the main end, because ultimately you are seeking that end only through dharma, artha, kama. And so we need not remove basically all the relative ends that are a natural part of our life. However, we must understand that this ultimate end, of life itself, which I am seeking through dharma, artha, and kama, I should not miss its sight. When I am pursuing dharma, artha, and kama, I remaining active, I should know that this is actually a goal I have to achieve. So that's how the people ask a question. I have noted that question. How do I pursue other relative ends necessary to life? Somebody asked me this. How do I pursue other relative ends necessary to life, such as security, etc., while never losing sight of moksha as the end? Well, it is like drawing a line on the paper. First a line of, you draw a line of dharma, artha, and kama. Now, you want to make that line small. What will you do? You should not erase. You should not erase. You make another line which is bigger than that line. That's it. That's it. That's it. So never erase dharma, artha, kama. So yesterday also somebody asked from your group only. This is the question when we address to young adults. They say these people are also useless. These Swamis, etc., don't do anything, and they tell also. No. Ultimately, what you are really seeking through dharma, artha, kama is this. May it be clear to you. Then definitely in your mind, moksha becomes a main goal, a bigger line. Other things are subservient. They are not gone. They are natural, they remain. And therefore, you become more objective towards this dharma, artha, and kama. In absence of the sight of the moksha, dharma, artha, kama becomes predominant. And at the end of the life, after 60, 70, all the people say this, we have gained so much, Swamiji. Still, we have not gained. Everyone says. Therefore, to be objective to this dharma, artha, kama, when you understand that bigger line of moksha, then those things, other things will remain. It has its own place. Naturally, one needs, to sustain life, one needs money, other things, relationship, all these things are good. But ultimately, the main goal is moksha. Anyway, so this is regarding 4 purusharthas. And when once you have this moksha as a goal in your life, that's a priority, of course, then the whole life becomes basically a karma yoga. Whatever you do becomes a karma yoga, because the real end is now discerned, and you realize that since moksha is what you are really seeking, well, there is no option in that. Okay, then what is karma yoga? Karma yoga, we are going to discuss in a small way. Shivamji told me something to discuss. I'll discuss it in 5-10 minutes, don't worry. What is karma yoga? Karma yoga means, it has 2 words, karma and yoga. Karma means a proper actions. Yoga means a proper attitude behind the actions. And proper attitude proper attitude towards the result of an action. That's it. That's called karma yoga. Now, what are proper actions? I want to do karma yoga. To be a contributor in the creation is a karma yoga. That's it. But why should I contribute? You, if you want to do, you do. I don't want to. That's correct. The whole cosmos is working for you, basically, for your sustenance. Whole cosmos. For my 1 cup of tea. Really? Believe me. If you really have that doubt, please ask to our Swamiji. Whole cosmos, starting from sun, rain and earth and everything you require. Refineries and everything. Refinery for tea? Yeah. You know very well. Whole. And then there are other needs, eating lunch at 12:30 or whatever. There are clothes. Whole cosmos is working with one attitude. If that attitude is not there, perhaps I may not be able to survive. And that attitude is called yajna. Yajna means offer. You know very well, even in a fire ritual, there is an offering to the fire. That is called yajna. Somebody said, Swamiji, yajna means a campfire. But there is offering. Sun offers itself to the ocean in terms of giving energy, etc. Then ocean offers itself, right? Creating vapor, etc. And clouds. Clouds themselves offer to the earth in form of a rain. Earth offers itself in producing all annam. All food basically is vegetarian. Ultimately, then, non-vegetarian means you eat others who eat plants and Plants are the greatest cook in the world. They produce so much of food. So, the earth itself offers totally something to be left, something to be given. No. Earth offers itself in terms of food, plants and other things. That food offers itself, right, to the human being. And then, well, it's get digested and nutrient, etc., and the person is survived. So I'm giving one cycle which is given in the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. There are several cycles, and all the components in that cycle are just doing offering. That's how Yajna vai Vishnu. The entire creation is called Yajna because that is the spirit. There is a spirit of offering in the whole creation. They are working for my sustenance. And therefore, what is the thing to be done? I should also do what? Yajna. I should offer myself. Then, well, I want to offer to the cosmos because they have helped me. How will I offer? Well, there are 5 components, living beings, to whom you can offer. You cannot say, I am offering to this clock. Definitely, when you are offering to the living beings. The first living being, they are our officers, cosmic forces, we call devatas. Right? That's how everything is a devata. Because everything is intelligently functioning. Sun is functioning very intelligently. Everything is functioning intelligently when behind that there is a consciousness. And therefore, we look upon the sun as a conscious being called Surya Devata. And that's how there is offering in the morning, you have seen also. People offer Argyam, etc. Anyway, so this is one part of the cosmos. Cosmic forces, natural forces, we look upon as a Devata. We do something on a daily basis for them because they sustain, they are constantly working 24/7 for my sustenance, sustaining my life. Therefore, I should also do something with a sense of gratitude to Devatas, called Deva Yajna. That's called Deva Yajna. But what to do in Deva Yajna? Well, doing puja, etc. A little small puja. I just dislike it, Swamiji. But this is what they are doing to you. Agni Devata, these all natural forces. Vayu Devata, all. But I just dislike doing puja. Then I will tell you some other thing. I will tell you something else, which is most extensive and least expensive. Yeah, there is a method. Doing Deva Yajna. Then the second group of living beings, Rishis. They have, while I'm discussing, you are listening, maybe enjoying or whatever. You are gaining something, all this knowledge has been given by the Rishis. That's how a person can shape his or her life and gain ultimate moksha also. All this guidelines have been given by them through Vedas. So second yajna is a Brahma yajna. They call it. Brahma means Veda. Through Rishis also you should consider. You don't offer to Veda. There is a Veda book and you say, I'm offering. No. To Rishis ultimately. We need a living being form, which will be a recipient of the offering. Then the third, who has given these bodies to, right, human body, very precious. Very precious. Simple, if you are aware of what is going on around, you can understand to gain human life is next to impossible. See the life forms. I see that animal planet and something. My God. Under sea, what are the life forms? On the earth, my God, so many life forms. So, person can gain after death, well, need not be human life form again, because there are several options, my God, billions and billions of options, possibility. And therefore, to gain a human life itself is very rare. My parents are responsible for that. And parents, they have got a body because of their parents. They have got a body because of their parents, human body. And therefore, well, I have a sense of gratitude towards parents. Not only they have just given body, they have nurtured and education and whatnot without asking anything, right? Without asking anything. And therefore, on a daily basis, you do this yajna. Yajna is equal to gratitude plus contribution. Pitru yajna, called Pitru yajna. And the fourth one is a Manushya yajna. Other human beings also are constantly working. Scientists are working, and so many technicians and technologians, but so many things, right? So other human beings are also constantly working for the well-being of me, sustaining my life, and therefore you do something for other human beings also in terms of social service. That's called social service. Manushya yajna is nothing but a social service. And the fifth one is Bhuta yajna. Means not just a human being is there, other living beings, other living forms are there. They are also contributing. There are vultures who clean. Some dead bodies there, they come in a group, Bandara. They clean within no time. There are microbes who also convert certain dirty things into manure and other things. So many, all other living beings, trees, everyone has a contribution. Everyone has a contribution. Everyone is doing yajna. Therefore, I have a sense of gratitude towards them also. So at least planting a tree and nurturing. Now it's a very big billion-dollar industry, ecological balance and environmental balance and all that. This is nothing but this Bhuta Yajna. Nothing to spoil, nothing to destroy. Save the river, save the earth. I think 2 programs. Save the soil. Save the soil, save the river. This is Bhuta Yajna. Not destroying, nurturing, not polluting air, water, etc. Helping in ecological balance is Bhuta Yajna. In Manushya Yajna, I can give you another example. There is one person called Shantanu Naidu. Have you heard of it? The person? He was inspired by Ratan Tata. And he has started a startup, with a little bit amount from Ratan Tata. And he and the other people, that startup is called Good Fellows. What they are doing is helping the senior citizens who are lonely. Helping in terms of gaining doctor appointments and helping in terms of buying groceries and these and that and everything. This is called Manushya Yajna. He said, Ratan Tata said very beautifully that, you will understand this loneliness when you become really alone in your life. That's very true. And therefore, such senior citizens who are lonely, helping them through the startup, etc. And he's a young adult, Shantanu Naidu. Recently, only 2-3 days ago, only Ratan Tata inaugurated, etc. This is also Manushya Yajna. In whatever way we can do, we can help. Now, in Devi Yajna, at least, least expensive, most extensive is, pray for everything. Swasti prajabhyah paripalayantam Nyayena margena mahim mahishaha, go brahmanebhyas, etc. You know this prayer also. Pray for everything to the Ishvara, being Devi Yajna. That's called Devi Yajna. And so this Devi Yajna, then Brahma Yajna, well, how will I help Rishis? Rishis don't need my help. Yeah. Ishvara also doesn't need my 2-inch banana. He doesn't need. He doesn't need anything, or a small camphor. And he doesn't need anything. It's for my own benefit to express my gratitude through the contribution. Because I'm already under obligation. I'm already under obligation. 50 years, 60 years, or 30 years, 40 years, we are constantly surviving because the whole cosmos is functioning continuously with that same spirit of yajna, offering. And therefore, now we offer like that. And so in Brahma Yajna, Rishis don't need my help, but Rishis have given all the scriptures for one purpose, that you study. Right? Or someone teaches after learning. So learning and teaching the scriptures is a Brahma Yajna. Also chanting, because they say these Veda mantras, basically when you chant, they purify the atmosphere. So Parayanam also, chanting, also is considered as a Brahma Yajna. Or learnings, scriptures, also is a Brahma Yajna. Then a third Pitru Yajna, well, I need not have to say, serving the parents in whatever way you can, serving in their well-being, is a Pitru Yajna. Saluting also. Now I can't say that you should salute. If you are living with the parents, you should salute daily. No, Swami, yeah, it's okay. Suppose if someone says, in whatever way you help them for their well-being, that's Pitru Yajna. I need not have to discuss more. And then Manushya Yajna, I said social service. Bhuta Yajna also I said, helping in ecological balance. Okay? It's 12:05. I have completed. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.